Okay, hi there. This is Kate. I just wanted to go through the first few steps as you start in this web design class. I'm going to be trying to make more videos. I know there's a lot of text information, so hopefully the videos will sort of help bring it all together, basically. So first of all, I'm going to be working in mostly Atom. Atom can be gotten by going, hang on just a second here. Oh my gosh. Okay, how about that? Thank you. Atom, you can go to atom.io, and if you have a Windows or a Mac, it'll sense that, and you download it and you install it and you run it. The first time you run it, it's going to have a bunch of stuff in here. It'll have a getting started page, that sort of thing, and that's fine. You can read through it and get that information all you want. You'll have a file that's open up here, and you'll be able to hit a little X. Might be on the other side if you're on a Mac. And if there's anything over here in the projects, if that's open, you can right click on the name of the project. There's obviously nothing right now, but and close the project here. So basically what I'm going to be going through is the practice building a web page, at least the first few steps, because that seems to be where people get stuck the most. This is kind of a pretentious lecture here. I did not write this. It's with the materiality of code in mind, whatever that means. All right, let's see. So we need to start a new document, obviously. File new file. And we need to save it immediately as an HTML document. That's probably a good idea to put this into a folder. So I'm going to put this into a folder, and I'm going to name this. And what was it they wanted this to be named? Well, I don't see it. Is it Hello World? I think it is. I think it is. Save the document. Yes. Yes, Hello World. Okay, that's what I thought. Our file names should always be lowercase. No capital letters, no spaces. You can use dashes or hyphens or underscores. And do not forget the .html on the end. You may be on a computer that has the file extensions turned off, in which case you need to turn them on. If you just go to Google, you type in the type of computer you have, whether it's Windows or if it's Mac, and turn file extensions on. You'll want to make sure that you do that. So helloworld.html, I'm saving it into a folder. I hit save. Yay! So now it knows that it's an HTML file, which is nice. All right, so the first few steps here are just putting in, whoops, I can't type. Putting in what it is that the lecture tells you to put in there. Now you may have noticed that I have my opening and I have my closing tags. And this closing tag, I had to type that out. Now you may find that it will automatically generate that. There is another video, or there will be another video on how to turn that off if you want to. How to turn off it auto-generating the end tags. For myself, it's extremely irritating to try to wrestle with that, so I turned it off like pronto. I don't recall exactly. I believe it is in the settings. This is a highly flexible code editor. It's one of the reasons I really like it. Do I remember? No. Auto indent. Nope, I don't see it. Okay. But yeah, I'll release a video on it if there isn't one already out there. So we have our opening, closing HTML tags, and we type in our opening and closing body tags. Now you'll notice I tapped on my spacebar a couple of times. You don't have to do that, but it's considered good practice. If you don't do it, at least especially initially, that's fine. That won't change anything for the code there. Basically what this says is that there are these matching opening and closing tags, and then inside of those opening and closing tags are more. So we have body tags and the HTML tags. All right, so then here they have us type in hello world. Okay, and this is actually enough to make this file show up properly in the browser. So let me pull this up. Where did I put this? Is it demo? It's demo. Okay, so here we go. On my particular computer, HTML files are associated with Firefox. Yours may be different. It may come up in Edge, or it may come up in Safari or Chrome or one of the other browsers. Any of them really will work. I recommend Chrome or Firefox. I prefer Firefox because I like some of the development features in it, but it's up to you, really. And you want to look at it in a variety of different uh, browsers anyway. But anyway, so here we go. We got a hello world. Let's see. So we have here what I like to call, and I don't know that it's actually called this in the real development world, but what I like to call naked text, or naked text. The thing about HTML is what we're doing is we're building meaning into this document. We're saying, okay, yeah, it says hello world there, but what is that? Is it a paragraph? Is it a heading? Is it a list? Which is sort of silly to think about, but I mean, each one of those things has an HTML tag that explains to the browser and other things like screen readers and programming languages what that sentence is. So what is it? So we're going to just tell it this is a paragraph. So P for paragraph, because nobody wants to type out the whole word paragraph. And let's have another paragraph. There we go. So I have a couple of paragraphs. So see, HTML is all about building structure. You'll see in the second part, the second lecture here, if you go through it, which hopefully you do, you'll see that we build a resume, a very simple resume in that one. That's because the resumes are very strongly structured. They're not just a series of paragraphs. They have lists, they have headings, they have subheadings, they have information that's very specific. They have an address, all of that. So HTML is about building in that meaning. It's not necessarily about making it look a certain way. It's about that meaning. This particular code editor lets me know that I have not yet saved this document, and that's good because if I haven't saved it and I try to refresh, where did it go? There we go. I try to refresh this, well, we don't see my second paragraph. That's because this hasn't been saved, and that's a very common thing to have happen for students. So I save that and I come back to the preview in my browser, and there they are. And you'll notice also that it added a little bit of space around each one of these. That's because the browser automatically sees that these are paragraphs, and it says, oh, well, paragraphs shouldn't be slam bang right up next to each other. There needs to be a little bit of space. It automatically knows that. It has that set up inside of itself. And so it says, okay, well, in the absence of any other formatting information, I'm going to add some space around these, padding, and that's also alongside with the background's going to be white, and foreground, the color of the text is going to be black, and it's going to be Times New Roman, and so on. So the browser, in the absence of other information, meaning in the absence of any CSS to tell this HTML what it needs to look like, there's already there's a fallback, there's a default, is what I'm saying. Okay, very cool. Let's see. All right. Hello World is the first exercise you use in any code or markup language. Yeah, HTML is a markup language. That's what the ML part of it is. Marking up meaning describing the various parts of the structure of the document, just like I was saying earlier. Okay, so let's see. We're going to put in a link. We're going to put it inside of a paragraph. So our paragraph is, Hello World is the first exercise you learn in any code or markup language. Okay, and we'll close that paragraph. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we're going to link the first exercise. So we need to put in a new tag we're about to learn. This is the anchor tag, or A. So A, and then we put in a space. Notice I haven't closed this opening tag yet. href equals, where's the link? You've got to get the link just right or it won't work. Yep, where'd it go? Not that one. Aha, there it is. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to paste that link. Because, holy cow, that's long. Okay, so that's the opening A tag. The first exercise you learn in any blah, blah, blah. Okay, and I'm going to close it, close that A tag there. If I don't close it, what it will tend to do is if there's any more text after that, it will make it all a link, and that's not what we want. We only want that text right there to become a link. Okay. So let me save this, let me refresh, and I'm going to test this link. I actually don't know if it, oh yeah, it does work. It redirects to something else, but that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that the link worked. And notice that since I visited this link now, it went from blue to purple. So it was previously unvisited. Okay, let's see. So, formatting type, yes, I said that. Okay, and the next thing is adding an image. All right, so, and all of this, by the way, all of this is happening between the body tags. The body tags are where you put the content or the information that will actually show on the page. There's and the body, there's also actually a head, but this particular document doesn't have one. 99.99% of the rest of the HTML files that you're going to make are going to have a head and a body. The head will contain information about the page. The body contains the information that is on the page. But anyway, let's see. Where was I? So we are going to make a reference to an image. Now I'm saying a reference because you can't, at least not at this level, you cannot embed an image into HTML. You can only refer to it. So what this is doing is it's telling the browser, okay, see this part right here? I want to put in an image, and the source of it is here, and that's that. Now the next thing you'll notice is that HTML tags previously, we have an opening P tag and a closing P tag. We have an opening A tag and a closing A tag. We have an image tag. Yeah, so this one doesn't require anything to, it does not require being closed. There's no such thing as a /img tag. So that's simply because that's the way they designed it. I know, that's a terrible explanation, but I mean, yeah, what can I say? All right, and then exercise 5. Ah, okay. Well, that didn't, oh, okay, so strong. So you can also, you can emphasize certain parts of the page. So if I want to emphasize that, yes, this is the very first one, I can say I can do a strong and /strong. If you've been doing HTML for a little while, or if you did HTML several years ago, you might think, oh, well, what happened to bold or B? We don't usually use B for this anymore. The reason being, well, for example, when a a screen reader is reading to a visually impaired user, and it's reading a page, the thing that's happening here is that this needs to be stronger. This is my first. We could use strong, or we could use EM for emphasis. Strong is visually translated by the browser as bolded, and EM, or emphasis, is translated by the browser as italicized. But in terms of voice, a screen reader will emphasize that word. So, all right, so that's the very first, that's the practice building a web page. You do not have to turn this in, but this is the end result. Let's see. Yeah. If you were to need to send this to me, if you needed me to see the code, what you can do, and this is true on Mac or PC, I speak both, is you can either right-click and do a send to compressed zip folder, and that's on Windows. Or you can, on a Mac, you'd right-click it and go to compress, and it would have the name of the file. Or if you have multiple files, it's often easier simply to compress the folder that everything's in. So you can send that in. All right, so hopefully that'll kind of get you started understanding the various moving parts with the file, the code editor and the browser, and changing it in the code editor and then saving it there and then refreshing it in the browser, that kind of thing. So hopefully this is helpful. Sorry this was 15 minutes long.